Hey guys, it's Elise and welcome back to My Cupcake Addiction. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a simple no-bake chocolate raspberry tart. This thing's amazing, it's rich, it's dark, it's decadent, and it is everything I love about fresh fruit. For this one, I've got some finely crushed chocolate sandwich cookies. I never remove the cream from my sandwich cookies when I crush them because I find, especially for a base, the cream kind of makes it a little bit moister and helps hold everything together a little bit better. I've also got some melted butter. Salted or unsalted, it really doesn't matter. I've got a little bit of whipping cream, some dark chocolate, and I've also got a ton of fresh raspberries. I've also got a tart shell, so I'm using like a 9-inch round with a removable base. Removable bases are definitely easier when you're working with a no-bake cookie base. So your first step's gonna be the base, and I'm gonna leave all of your measurements on the MyCupcakeAddiction.com website. So if you want to print the recipe and have all of your conversions and quantities, make sure you go and check that one out. I'm going to mix in my butter with my Oreos and stir it through. This is a pretty typical no-bake tart base. It's really delicious, but if you don't have enough butter in there, it can be prone to crumbling. So I like to make sure I've got plenty of butter, and when I put it into the pan, my mixture is really moist. I'm going to pour my delicious butter and cookie mix into the pan, and I'm going to evenly distribute it so my tart has the same amount of crust all the way through. I'm never ever stingy with my crust mixtures here because there's nothing I hate more with cheesecakes, with tarts, with anything that's supposed to have a really nice crunchy base. I hate feeling like I'm getting ripped off on the crust. I always like them to be nice and thick. Pushing out to the sides of the pan. And then I'm going to use just something with a flat base so that I can go through and really push down on that base and make sure that it's nice and compacted and really nice and even. So as I'm pressing, I'm sort of pushing that mix all the way up. You can see I've got this really jagged top edge, but it's all over the top line of my tart shell. This is a trick to a nice, neat tart shell. I'm going to use my knife and I'm just going to cut around the top, which is going to give me a nice, neat edge. If you happen to have any little bits fall off, you can just neaten them up. Let's not waste any of our cookie base. That is going straight in the middle of my tart. Press it down and this tart is ready to go off into the fridge. It doesn't really need to refrigerate for any amount of time before we put our center in, but I'm going to pop it in there so that it can start the chilling process. With my tart chillaxing in the fridge, I'm going to take my dark chocolate and my cream and I'm going to make, this is essentially a ganache. So this is a combination of cream and chocolate. I'm going to heat it in the microwave on 30-second intervals. If you don't have a microwave, you can also boil the cream on the stove, remove the boiling cream from the stove, and then pop in the chocolate and stir it until the chocolate's completely melted. My ganache is made and it's beautiful, rich, dark, chocolatey and flowing. And that's a 2-to-1, so it's 2 parts chocolate, 1 part cream. So it's quite a thick ganache. I'm going to pour that over my chocolate cookie base. All right, I've got my gorgeous chocolate tart. This is really nice just as a chocolate tart, but it can be a little bit much without the beautiful sort of tart sweetness of the berries to break it up. So I'm just gonna push it out to the edges. Be careful not to push too hard because you don't want it to dislodge any of that cookie crumb. Until that cookie crumb's completely set, it's still gonna be a little bit fragile. So I'm going to place this into the fridge for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. I don't want it to be set. I just want to stop my raspberries from sinking to the bottom when I layer them on top. At a 10-minute wait, that's probably the most time-consuming part of today's recipe, which is saying something for how easy it is. So now I've got my fresh raspberries and I'm just going to line them up. I don't want to just dump them on here. I want to line them up really beautifully. Because my ganache is starting to set but not completely set, it means my raspberries can kind of sink in just a little bit, stick to that ganache so that they're not going to fall off as we start cutting the tart, and I can make them really nice and neat and beautiful and kind of level all the way around the tart. So if you've got some that are a little taller or a little shorter, you can just push them down into the ganache just a little bit more. Making a little bit of room, and in goes our last raspberry. There is a little bit of work in putting them on like this, but it only took me about 5 minutes and the effect is so incredibly worth it. I'm going to put that into the fridge for an absolute minimum of 2 hours. If you can leave it in there for 3 or 4, it's better. So our base can firm up and become really, really nice and stable. That ganache in the middle can go really beautiful and firm like any good tart should be. And my raspberries can chill out a little bit. Having a no-bake based tart served in a removable base tart shell makes serving incredibly easy. All you need to do is pop the base of the removable base tart shell out, and I always leave my tarts on the base while I'm serving. Your guests are gonna absolutely marvel that you made this amazing 5-ingredient, no-bake, decadent chocolate raspberry tart in less than 30 minutes. If you're not already subscribed to the My Cupcake Addiction channel, make sure that you do for 2 new videos every week. And I also have an entire playlist for no-bake things. So if not baking is your thing, make sure you check it out. As always, guys, thanks very much for watching.